Thank you. All right, so all that good stuff about Black Tech Lead was not recorded. Okay, so I didn't start out to be in technology, right? I studied economics and geography at the University of Ghana, and then I did my service as a research assistant for 2 years on an agriculture project. And then I did my master's in population, and that was the trajectory I was going until I had an issue with my thesis on my master's course. And then I was asked to wait it out. And so I said, why not? Let me take a job. I went and started a job as a salesperson. If you know of the company called Sankofa Natural Spices, please raise your hand. You can put in a high five in the chat, and yeah, or you can just give me an emoji or something like that. So that company had just started and they were looking for salespeople. I was available. I just had my son. So what's the point of sitting at home? I decided to go ahead and then and join the sales team. Not too long after, I was promoted to be the brands and business process person manager. And so I literally was the one who created all the social media that that company has now and grew it to over 2K. I think that's where my digital marketing started into my full-time career, what I have now. And I started getting really curious about, how technology really kickstarted a company that just started and became really amazing, right? And so I started going for iSpace events, and they spoke about this You What Unlocking Women in Technology. And so I joined, learned how to code, built an online marketplace. I was poached by a United States, a US consulting company, which is now my current company, the VGC group. It was a couple of chats, and then I was asked to, join the consultancy. And I've grown from an admin officer, did that for I think a couple of 3 months, and then I was quickly put on the project management thing. I managed a lot of projects, which included 5-figure companies. And now I work as a tech and digital automation. I also did some work in programs management too. I have since evolved from just working at VGC to, doing other consulting work. I've done quite some number of trainings, consulting, out of my company and stuff. And so I feel that I have, a new world kind of opened to me when I started working at the VGC. And I felt that a lot more people need to understand what it means to, work in other, environment other than your Ghanaian environment. And that doesn't necessarily mean you traveling out of the country, but gaining a lot more perspective, right? So before I don't jump the gun, let's just continue this conversation. So when I talk about living the future, it's very, very simple, right? It's more about looking deep into, just like this guy, looking deep into the future and seeing, having the foresight to know what is coming or what is actually here, right? What is actually here. And so you are looking at professionals, you're looking at entrepreneurs, you are looking at the market, and you're asking yourself a very deep question. How is the future looking like? And what is really going on now? Right? And so today I'm inviting you to a very critical mantra here that we want to build a Black Tech Lead, and that is to live the future. That is to live the future. And so after your research, I would talk more in the like forward in the slide about how it is to live the future. Now, did I live the future in my career? I don't think so. I think that at the time I was just, following my curiosity about the fact that I could grow a social media, following that much without going physically to retailers and increasing, the sales for the company, even outside of the country on their website. And I was just curious. That's how I went to learn, build my own website or my own marketplace. And then, they say the rest is history. But these are the two things that were very critical in my career. And the first and foremost and the most important of it was building my portfolio. Right. Okay. So the issue I found around and the reason why I was in so many, training sessions telling young people to build a portfolio, which is very critical in their global job search, because I can't say that enough, is to build whatever it is that they want to, right? So I'll go deep into this when we go forward. When I built Muka Freak at the time, I wasn't necessarily building a business, even though I thought so. I think that what I was building at the time was to showcase, because Muka Freak was a capstone project out of the coding, right? But then there's something my mentor told me at the time, right? Josiah told me, is that we should go ahead and then work it out. We should just, be on this thing that we are doing. And so we just went ahead and started talking around it. It was difficult at the time, right? And so we just went ahead. They said, okay, what are you building? I'm building a global marketplace. I want Jumia to be my competitor. It was crazy. And we all know it was not true. It was not going to happen at the time. But I just love the fact that I was very confident in marketing what it was that I was doing. And so this is how my career started. I was talking to one agent at the DHL company about my products going to somewhere in Germany because of an order. I had an order of about 5,000 calabash bowls. It was crazy, yeah. And so I was liaising with the person in North to, package the calabash and stuff so that I can, use DHL. And DHL was telling me the shipping was too much. And so I should use an external shipping, because DHL does more retail shipping than wholesale kind of shipments. And the lady was like, I know somebody. The person is in the US. She was the one who helped some other company to do, large stuff. Will you be willing to talk to this person? And I said, oh yeah, why not? And I went to the person, said, you mean you built this? But I said, yes, I did. Said, are you sure you? But I said, yeah. So walk me through. I took the person through. This is what I did. And I showed her the vision, said, why don't you come and help us? We can give you more money. We can get you more money to build this. Now, not that I'm bragging, but this particular platform has gained so much in the apps. And I wasn't ready. Like, I was just building a portfolio at the time. And for me, I saw the power of showing my portfolio. So it was not enough for me at the time to just build it. I had to keep talking about it. I had to make a lot of noise about it. I had to make sure that people heard me, that I was actually the person who built this. And I felt that was one thing I wasn't seeing in young people who have so much desire to, to get global jobs. The second thing also was that, okay, before I go, this guy says something, Bernard Clive Mould, I think he's a branding person. He said something that stuck with me for over 10 years. He said that the next Michael Essien or the next is it Messi or Leonardo, these footballers, they are actually in the village, but they will never be found. I don't know if that quote will give you a very, deep perspective, that it doesn't matter how good you are. If nobody knows about you, trust me, you are going to be stuck where you are. It's not a prophecy. It's just what it is, right? And then fast forward, sorry for my spelling error. Fast forward, I took an internship in another NGO, which was also a global NGO, right? It was for free for 3 months or so. And all I was doing was to help in their digital marketing, social outreach, digital communications department, helping them take their message out. We were running campaigns, like some really good global campaigns. And then I would, I would help with, the materials that we need. We'll have meetings. I think where I had so much value was the group meetings that we had, talking to Samsung, these Google, these other companies. And now today, if I mention the company, you would know why. They had so much global attention. And I was so proud to be part of that company, even if it was just on a volunteering basis. And I think that was where I started gaining what it meant to work in a global environment. So let's ask ourselves what it is, what it means, to work in a global environment, or what is the future of work? So when you hear people saying the future of work, it's really about the transformation that is going to happen. And this transformation is actually powered by technology. Not only technology, but demography too as well. But I think that the most profound one is actually technology. Technology has, gone so fast in this particular year. Just last year alone, I sat here doing my research on a very important project I'm working on, and I told myself, just last year I was using Google to Google things. What happened today? I'm using a lot of AI, either in my designs or my research. Like, I was using AI. I said, no, this can't be. Technology has literally changed a lot of things. And one funny thing is that for someone who has done a lot of work in different other continents, oh no, just three, please. And then maybe 6 other countries, I kind of feel that the change that most people are talking about is not being felt here in Ghana. Because why? The rate of adoption of technology is not that much, right? I didn't think this was an issue until I started interacting with somebody who has worked in a Ghanaian office for, is it 13 years or 14? I was saying so many things. I said, what do you mean? What does that mean? I was shocked. This is a managerial person, somebody who is being pushed for a directorship position in Ghana, worked all his life in Ghana. So you can just imagine how that person thinks, and how somebody like me, who is always, just opposing different digital tools, also think. Not to jump the gun, let me just say that this is an example of what it will look like, right? So think offices, traditional job structures, and even the way of commuting from one job to the other. You may not enter a bus or a car to go to your office. Maybe your commute will just be to, move from one computer to the other, or move from one software to the other, or be at one place. That is what you have to be thinking about when we tell you about the future of work, right? You have to start thinking about, will offices disappear? Will everybody have to end up being a freelancer and stuff like that? It is crazy out there, And so this is where it gets really interesting. What do we mean by a global career, right? A global career is actually career that goes beyond your boundaries, whether physically or online. Somebody says spiritually, but no, that's not it. Whether physically or online, right? It is often about somebody who has a global career, has so much experience working in multiple countries. And it's not limited to only in a Ghanaian perspective. You can meet somebody who has only worked in Ghana, has experience in Ghana, know people from Ghana, has clients in Ghana. And you can meet somebody who has worked on different continents, has worked in different countries, has done different types of jobs, and different things. And you will see the stark difference that this person is exhibiting a certain type of, characteristics compared to the other person who is, has worked here, done everything here, and stuff like that, right? One of the things you are going to find out about the person is that the person is very, very, very varied in his or her experience. The person is going to, when you ask the person a question, oh, what is this? The person is not going to give you, oh, this is A. The person is going to tell you that, oh, in India, I think this is how it is going to look like. But in Thailand, this is how, but when you come to Ghana and you go to Nigeria, this is how it looks like. This person is very varied in his or her experiences, right? And then the second thing you are going to notice in this person is that the person is very, very multicultural, tolerant. The person understands that he or she does not have all the answers to everything. And so the person can easily collaborate, understand, accept other people for who they are and how they speak. Let me tell you one funny thing about when I started working at the VGC. I had teammates from Canada, US, of course. I had one teammate from Kenya, Nigeria, of course, me in Ghana. We had one from Philippines. And then now we have, I don't have to mention names. And we have one from Sri Lanka. And where again? Let me think. right? So you can just imagine. And I was sitting in a meeting. The guy from Sri Lanka is talking. I don't know what the guy is saying. Hey, for like 3 months, I don't know what this guy, like we were always so, I said, so how am I going to work if these people are talking, I'm not hearing anything? Apparently, later on, they told me that when I'm also speaking, they don't know what I'm saying. So at the end of the day, communication was very difficult. We had to find a way to speak, or we had to find a way to communicate. And that was the beauty of working in, a global space or having a global career. At this point, I'm going to stop. If you have any question, getting towards it. If you have any question for me, let me stop here, then I'll finish with the rest of the slides and stuff. Okay, hi, Manuel. Kindly go ahead and speak. You may have to unmute your mic. Or just type it if you feel your internet is a problem. Let me check the chat and see if you said something. Hi, Manuel. I will continue, but once I hear that you're able to speak, then I would, because I see your hand raised. Let me tell you one of the reports that changed my life, my career. Okay, I think Emmanuel says something. Oh, okay. You said you mentioned something about us not being known without going out. Did I say something like that without? Oh, okay. I think I was talking about if nobody knows about the work that you have done or how talented you are going nowhere. Did you have any perspective or question about that? Or you wanted me to show you ways? Oh, but some of us don't have the courage. Some of us don't have the courage to do so. Well, you have come to the right place, because I'll be on your case. But of course, that's just a joke, by the way. You having the courage to do so boils down to a lot of things. And it will interest you to know that I also went through the same thing. I still go through the same thing. Because the people that I'm connected with on LinkedIn are actually big people, like directors and stuff. And since I'm having a very global career, my bosses, people, and other organizations we've worked in other are also following me. And so I'm extremely careful. And so in the bit of being careful, sometimes I end up not posting at all, because I'm like, hey, these people, they know more than me. If I go and post this thing right now, it's going to look as if I'm lying. That kind of fear catches you. But one of the things that has really helped me is research. So before I post, I don't just get up and post anything on LinkedIn, right? I have a philosophy that I call, if you don't have anything to say, don't say anything at all. If you're not sure of what you're saying, don't say anything at all. Because for me, my brand or my personal brand is very important to me, right? And so I do a lot of research, make sure that what I'm saying is very much, authenticated by research, right? And if I'm sharing a problem, I make sure that, somebody shares that perspective with me. So if I'm sharing the fact that maybe tech integration demands a more systemic approach, which is something I'm very passionate about, I would have to have example of clients who have not had systemic examples of it. And so I could reference them and then show them, unless, very confident people are very argumentative. They don't care what they post, and they are okay with that. right? But for some of us, we have to be extremely systemic in whatever it is. So at a point, I started only sharing what I know, my experiences. You can't take my experiences away from me, right? You can't. And the third thing that also helped me was accountability or mentorship. So I'm in a group of 2 or 3 other leaders in my career level where we do share. Like we have those goals where we share things. If it's not Instagram, then maybe it's LinkedIn or Twitter or any other platform, or even on our WhatsApp statuses too as well. It's a thing we told ourselves. So this journey of having courage, I don't think that you have to do it all alone. You may have to look for a community that gives you the confidence that whatever it is you are coming to post, Charlie, is valid. And as I began to do this and saw the feedback, some people may not comment, but they'll come to my DM, they will ask for my contacts, they will ask me to, be on their event. My confidence level for the past 5-6 years started rising because I feel that I had a perspective that they were looking to hear. And once I started to see all these results, I was like, oh, I think I'm getting better. But I haven't entirely gotten over the fact that what I'm posting may not necessarily be it. But I have to, because I have to keep building my brand and my visibility as I move along. So we can talk more about this as we go. So, like I was saying, there was this survey that really changed my life, which is from the World Economic Forum. I think that most of us should go and follow World WEF, because somebody who is very much thank you to Emmanuel. So somebody who is very much concerned about the future and living the future and wanting to plan the future should actually be concerned about what is going on. And one part of that is the research. And I was just there, and this video popped up on my Instagram because I follow these organizations. And the video is about a survey that was conducted by the WEF on over 5,000 companies, which involved like Fortune 500, bigger company, multi-corporations. They were just asking their managers what skills would they be looking out for when they start to hire new people into their their companies or their departments and stuff. And these were the skills that these managers, directors, company owners were speaking about. They said the first thing they will be looking out for is the ability to navigate tech tools. So that has got nothing to do with the fact that maybe you have to learn how to code or you have to have advanced digital skills, which is very important if that is your career. Core tech is your career, right? That's what we call the advanced digital skills. But then the ability to use ChatGPT and put in good prompts, the ability to navigate around things like Figma, when maybe somebody like Esther in UI sends you a design, the ability to use things like Canva to create very dynamic presentations or very dynamic designs after Esther has given you directions, on what design should look like, because it's not every day that Esther will be around. Sometimes she has to step away, and come back, So they said it's very much needed and very much important for whoever they are hiring to have an idea. So if it's someone say, oh, I don't know what prompt to put in ChatGPT, oh my God, I don't know, then you have to be looking at this. And then the second thing they said they are looking out for is collaboration, right? Because now the tasks that are being given out these days are not straightforward. And take it from me, somebody who works in that kind of environment, right? So they give you a task. I don't give out information. They give you a task to maybe see how this company can thrive in the future. That's a very bogus or a very vague task. But what you don't know is that this task is actually the combination of different skill sets. We'll need a data person, a research person, even a tech person, like a coding person, a programmer. You need different types of people to make this task actually come to pass. And so they are looking for somebody who will not necessarily have everything, but will be able to, work with people, understand different perspectives, and collaborate to bring stuff. So if you are those type of people say, I work alone, I live alone, I love myself, I do things, and not reach out, it will be very difficult for you to thrive in the future of work. And then they talked about global citizenship, and that's very much closer to collaboration. They talked about the fact that global doesn't mean you have to travel to China and come back, Dubai, which is great. It's actually the main part of being a global citizenship. But it boils down to actually developing the skills that global citizens actually develop. And that is what, number one, tolerance, understanding, people from different diverse groups, people from different genders, race. Some people are actually physically, I don't want to say disabled. There's a way they say differently abled people. You have to find a way to talk to them. You have to find a way to work with this type of people. You have to find a way to connect with this type of people. And for them, it's very much important to them, for them to know that you are coming from Ghana or Nigeria or Cameroon, but you are working so well with somebody from India or somebody from Canada, and you feel comfortable and not feel threatened and not feel, I can't work with this type of people. They said that is very critical to them. And then the second, the next one they are very much concerned about is environmental stewardship. Somebody who cares about the environment. And when we are saying environmental stewardship, doesn't necessarily have to do with only littering our environment, like our surroundings. That is so basic, guys. We are talking about using things, giving out ideas that do not help the environment. Simple. Understanding climate, understanding the tools, going to, like, for instance, you are a leader, you've been asked to go and buy a laptop, you go and buy laptops that, bring out so much, what is the exhaust, or, very bad, gases and stuff. You are harming the environment. You are not thinking about the environment. And so these are the people that they are looking out for. And then the last skill, which were the top 5, there were many, but these were the top 5, is creativity. See, this is a big issue. Like for in Ghana here, we've grown in an environment where teacher says 1 + 1, 2, 2 + 2, 3, 3 + 3, 2 + 2, 4, 3 + 3, 6. And so we are so rigid in our thinking that we haven't allowed ourselves to be creative, to be innovative around the tasks that they give us. Right. So in a typical global working space, you may not be asked to go and do 1 + 1. Your tasks will be very much challenged, right? So I think Esinu is here. She's a designer. So let me use a design perspective. She'll be asked to design something for maybe a Christian or a Muslim influential woman. Trust me, the process you're going to go through is different from maybe designing for maybe somebody who is a model, or maybe like we call slay queens or something like that. It's going to be different. And so as a professional, a global professional, you have to be thinking around how creative you can be. And so that goes back to personal branding. These are some of the things, if you want to start sharing your journey today, these are some of the things you have to start thinking about sharing on your LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or WhatsApp status. You have to share things around how you've worked with other people, how you have preserved the environment, how collaborative you are, how you are just opposing using digital tools, different tools, and how creative you have approached certain things or certain challenges that have come to you. This is what the community, or the LinkedIn, the Facebook, Instagram, whatever community will be looking at. I would have been saying LinkedIn because I'm so biased about it, but yeah, let's use other platforms too as well, right? And so how to lead with your skills in the global market, right? You have to understand what these skills are. And I think that this is what, when Alice and all these other good people come to share, I believe that this is where they will be so much, sharing. However, they will be sharing more about their journeys, more than me just using, all this theory stuff, right? So you have to do a deep dive of your current skills. You have to sit down and ask yourself. And you know one funny thing about young people or us, let me not say only young people, us, is that once you do one research, we are done. No. You have to put in a continuous research. You have to put in and say, okay, every quarter, every month, every year, I have to sit back and say, what were my skills? What did I learn? What didn't I do properly? And this actually boils down to what is actually happening, right? So you have to do something like a gap analysis of what is actually the skills of today and tomorrow and what you have now. Then you see the gap of where you can go. So for instance, I was a technology professional. I didn't have a business analysis, which was very critical in being a technology consultant. It was serious, but then I was looking for a place where I can gain it in a global, setting. So I have to opt out and pay huge amounts of money for a Canadian institution, right? And so I had to do that. And you have to I still would have to do a deep dive analysis of my current skill sets and then just oppose it along where I'm going and stuff. So you have to do that. And then once you get that, please get to action. Start building. When I say start building, it doesn't necessarily have to be only you sitting behind a laptop and learning, which is also great. I do that. It's really about collaborating too, being in a group, learning with other people, understanding them, asking questions, putting yourself in a mentorship. Look for somebody you feel can take you there. Ask, can you mentor me? I want to become this person. And so can you help me in this skill? I'll be very much happy. For me today, my skill is not necessarily tech skill that I want to learn. I want to learn how to build, how to lead, lead bigger projects, lead bigger things. And so for me, I think that the future things that I'm developing will be so much bordered around project management, project leadership, soft skills, whilst I'm still, adding my technology skills in addition. But I think what will be very much important, where you have a lot of edge, is that you are not only learning how to code, but you're also adding the soft skills that I, explained here, in addition to your technical skills. That is what you are going to stand out. And that is what Black Tech Lead we are doing. We are telling you that all this coding is great, but your coding means nothing if nobody knows nothing about it. Or your fashion technology is great, but if nobody knows about it, or you can't even work with people, it means nothing. And so both are not only relevant, they are very critical to where you are going. You have to learn them the way you are forcing to code. You have to force to, learn your leadership skills too as well. And then you have to find a way to build your brand. I think in a past training, we talked a lot about, your personal brand, your leadership skill, how to kickstart your leadership. We will come back to it because we understand not everybody was on that call. So we'd have to redo that. Your confidence on sharing your journey, right? When, like Emmanuel said, if you are not too confident, just share your journey. If you went to Mokola and went to buy, that's your story. And what you learned from it is very important. That's your story. You don't have to want to share something like Lucy Quest, who is a multi, director somewhere, right? You just started your journey. It's fine. You share your journey, right? And then you adapt as you go. This is very critical to developing a global skills as you move on. What will you get from that? I have had so many testimonies, not only of myself, but people who were just messaged, oh, can you come to Canada and work with us? Do you think that these people just message the person just out of the blue? No. They saw these skills in the person and they said, this person doesn't only know how to use Power BI, MySQL, but he really understands what it means to visualize data, speak meanings into it, understand why data has to be improved, and stuff like that, sharing. And so you have seen people, which is very characteristic of my career. I wasn't supposed to be in, when I have to follow a traditional trajectory, by now I should be around like early mid-career. I shouldn't be leading projects like I do. But then I feel that the fact that I was shared, like I just jump-started, boom, just like that. And you will see it in a lot of people's testimonies because they share and they are picking out things in these skills. They have been picked up oh, can you come and work here? Can you come and lead our projects? Can you come and do the and stuff, right? Some people, Joel, when Joel is on the call, he will tell you more about looking out for those things, which is a very critical thing in the tech industry, because in technology, if you are not looking, you are not finding, right? So a greater part or some part will be some people, asking you to come and lead or be part of their team. But another part of it is that you are actually also looking actively for those. And I think you will be very much instrumental in talking about that aspect of our global skills. And so this is very introductory. I hope that I touched on very important things. As we kickstart our global career learning journey, I'm going to open it up for 15 minutes for questions. If anybody have any question, and then we kickstart our next training later as our other mentors come and join and share very practical examples and strategies that they used to get to where they are today. So the floor is open for questions. Yay, let me see. Esther is saying something, right? Esther said, great presentation, good slide. Yay. Remember, we were creating all these brands, so we are going higher. Yeah. So I'm going to stop recording.